The oldest known human bedding is about 200,000 years old. Tonight, you'll probably sleep lifted off the floor, wrapped in fabric, climate-controlled. But someone long ago was already solving the same problem, with grass laid near the back of a cave over ash that may have blocked crawling insects. Wait, it gets worse for the mattress. When the old bedding got nasty, they probably burned it. Then they laid down fresh grass again. So here's the thing. Bare cave floor wasn't the plan. They were building sleep systems before bedrooms even existed. And real quick, before we crawl deeper into this prehistoric bedroom, if you're enjoying this, hit like, share it, and subscribe, because these videos take hours of research before I even start writing the script. Your support genuinely helps me keep going. And if you want a full series on any ancient life mystery, tell me in the comments below. Okay, back to the bed before bedrooms. The biggest clue comes from Border Cave in South Africa. It's in the Lubombo Mountains near today's Eswatini border. Archaeologists found layers that looked like plant bedding. No carved frame, no fancy furniture. Broad-leafed grasses had been gathered and placed there on purpose. The date is the part that breaks my brain. That's around the time early Homo sapiens were becoming recognizably us. And they weren't just sleeping on these grass patches. The same surfaces seem to have been workspaces too. Tiny ochre particles showed up in some bedding layers. Some layers had way more ochre than the surrounding dirt, which means that sleeping spot could become a desk. The same patch could handle rest and work. Basically, the bedroom was also the living room. And the ash underneath wasn't just random fireplace mess. Fine ash can make life miserable for crawling insects. It can clog them, dry them out, and slow them down. So an ash layer under grass was a bug barrier. That's basically a Stone Age mattress protector. And when bugs, sweat, and dirt built up, fire handled the laundry problem. Brutal, but effective. They could burn the old layer first, then spread the new one over the ash. That's weirdly close to changing sheets, just with more smoke. And here's the nastiest little bonus. Bedbugs may be older than beds. Human-linked and bat-linked bedbug lines may have split around 245,000 years ago, so the bug war started very early. And then Sibudu Cave raises the bar. We're talking about 77,000 years ago. This is also in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. People there used sedges and other plants for bedding. Then they added aromatic leaves on top. And these leaves may have carried insect-killing chemistry. So yes, prehistoric bedding may have included herbal pest control, not because it smelled fancy, because waking up covered in bites is a disaster. Around 73,000 years ago, Sibudu bedding starts getting burned too. That tells you people kept returning to the same sleeping problem. By about 58,000 years ago, the cleanup routine gets more intense. Sleep wasn't passive, it took planning. And this wasn't only a Homo sapiens trick. Neanderthals seem to have made plant beds too. In Amud Cave in Israel, researchers found plant traces. At Sibudu Cave in Spain, grass traces appeared near hearths. Different humans, different places, same basic problem. How do you safely become unconscious on the ground? Then, at Ohalo 2, near the Sea of Galilee, archaeologists found bedding inside a brush hut. That camp is about 23,000 years old. So now the sleep space has walls, a floor plan, and a chosen sleeping zone. Later, places like Skara Brae in Scotland had stone beds, which sounds awful until you remember the padding is gone. Organic stuff rots. Stone survives and steals the credit. Then Egypt turns the bed into raised furniture. Tutankhamun even had a folding bed buried with him, like an ancient camping bed, but royal. But the deep idea stayed the same. Put something between your body and the earth, because the ground steals heat from you. Grass and leaves trap little pockets of air. Hides and woven mats do the same job. That slows the heat loss while you're asleep. The same layer spreads pressure away from your hips and shoulders. No memory foam, but way better than stone. Modern Hadza sleepers still show how flexible this can be. Some use hides and woven mats. Others use blankets or mosquito nets. Pillows can be rolled clothing, or even a dirt mound. The question is painfully practical. What can I put under my bones tonight? Then there's temperature, which is sneakier than darkness. A modern sleep study looked at Hadza, San, and Tsimane sleep. They averaged about 6.4 hours of sleep per day. So the whole sunset to sunrise story gets shaky. They usually fell asleep around 3.3 hours after sunset, and sleep tracked the falling temperature of the night. Basically, bodies waited for the world to cool. They didn't necessarily sleep longer than you. They may have slept in a world that fit their biology better. Safety was the other half of the bed, because a sleeping camp is a vulnerable camp. In one Hadza study, researchers tracked sleep for 20 days. Then the result is honestly ridiculous. Everyone was scored asleep together for only 18 minutes total. Across the night, somebody was usually awake or half awake. The measured coverage reached 99.8% of the sampled night. No assigned guard needed, at least in the basic version. Mixed ages naturally make mixed sleep schedules. The restless grandparent by the fire may have mattered. Their bad sleep might have been somebody else's safety system. And fire wasn't only a heater. It turned the night into a social room. Daytime talk is often practical stuff, but around firelight, stories take over. Before the algorithm recommended videos, the fire recommended stories. Songs and rituals could happen there. Jokes and warnings could happen there too. The bed was nearby, but bedtime wasn't private. It was noisy, smoky, crowded, and alive. Babies woke up near the sleeping mats. Insects buzzed around the bedding. Wood cracked in the fire. Predators called somewhere outside the light. So the answer isn't that ancient humans slept without comfort. They built comfort from whatever the place gave them. Grass when grass was there, leaves when leaves were better, hides when warmth mattered more, ash when insects became the enemy, fire when the night needed a center, and other people when the dark got too big. So tonight, when you climb into bed, you're touching a technology that began before furniture, before bedrooms were even a normal idea, before the word mattress meant anything. The core problem was always terrifyingly simple. How do you go unconscious in a dangerous world and still make it to morning? They answered with grass and ash. They answered with leaves and hides. They answered with fire and each other. And the first bed began with someone tired enough, cold enough, and clever enough to change the ground beneath them.